For the last 2 years, this program was going on, but through online. So that gives the participants very limited access and interaction with each other. But finally, this year, participants can come to Korea and spend a couple of weeks in Korea with mutual interaction, and also allows personal contacts with instructors like me. So it gives me a very distinct pleasure, and also a lot of rewarding sentiment to all of us. So that's why I believe this program will take off to a higher level this year, and then I think next year we'll see this program will move on to much higher achievement.
Well, I'm glad that I'm back here to teach at Seoul International Law Academy again this year, and especially it is. I feel great that I teach person to person in the academy after 2 years online lecture due to the pandemic. Seoul International Law Academy is an important event, important initiative to promote the importance of international law, and this program provides participants with a good opportunity to learn many issues relating to public international law. This year again, I hope participants can benefit a lot from this program, and upon their return to respective countries, they will play a role in promoting the importance of international law in their foreign policy making and so on. So once again, I'm very pleased to be back to this academy, and I'm glad that I'll have another opportunity to spend precious times with the participants.
It's a great pleasure to be back teaching at the Seoul Academy of International Law again. The thing that I really enjoy about it is the fact that you have participants from all across the region, from so many different countries, and it's really nice to actually be able to see them exchanging views with each other, and also for me to be able to not just teach them but also to interact and learn from them too.
The importance of these kinds of programs to advance understanding and appreciation of international law and what it can do for communities, what it can do for nations, and what it can do for international cooperation, the importance of that cannot be overstated. And the Seoul Academy of International Law is to be commended for the way they are managing this program and for bringing it together, and to do it in person, where we can say, nice to see you, and really mean it, that we are seeing each other face to face, is such a useful and important contribution to it. The students have been amazing, drawn from diverse countries, not only within the region, but outside the region. The other professors, the staff, the support. It's a very impressive thing, and it's important for so many reasons, not least the importance of understanding among all participants, the teachers, the professors, the students, everyone, the perspectives that all of these individuals bring to it. So it's a privilege and it's an honor and it's a pleasure to be participating in this program.
It's the first time I've been here for the Seoul Academy, and it's been really energizing. I think everyone feels that who has traveled less during the epidemic, but more than that, it's been a very forward-looking program, a very nice mixture of topics: cybersecurity, health, climate change issues, world trade questions, humanitarian, as well as use of force, very timely questions. But many of them very forward-looking, and I think there's a sensibility also amongst the participants. A lot of bright, interesting young diplomats and young researchers of trying to think forward, thinking for the future, and feeling that talking about those topics, lecturing on them has it's not just an audience, that there's a shared experience of really trying to do that thinking, and the group of people is very nicely mixed here. It's a very interesting range of people from different Asia-Pacific countries, and very, I think, very positive interactions, but also very different experiences, different views of the world. Very refreshingly, people have really spoken up in the classes and also outside them. So there's been a real, I think, dialogue and a deepening of people's awareness of what other people are thinking, new ideas, ways forward, how to live in what's a very complex and challenging world at the moment. So I found it energizing, exciting, and very worthwhile to be here. Thanks.
It's been a complete pleasure from beginning to end. I would say I'm delighted that it was possible to have this experience in person. It's been an absolute pleasure to have this opportunity to engage over the last 3 days with the students in the program, with fellow professors who come from Korea and beyond, and also with all of the staff from the Academy. And about the teaching experience in particular, I would say it's been enjoyable because the students are engaged and they bring a range of really interesting experience from the different areas that they work in. So I've had very interesting questions, engaging conversations. It's been absolutely delightful. And the last thing I would say, many compliments to the organizers of the program, because it's been extremely well organized, prepared. Everything has been made very easy for participants, and most of all, you've made us all feel extremely welcome. So thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to speak in this program. I really enjoyed taking part, and you have a great organizational skill with which I was able to enjoy the stay here. And as far as the audience, the participants are concerned, especially in my last lecture, I was very glad to see so many participants willing to ask questions. And if I know that they speak so much, I could have asked them to give opinions about what I said from the beginning, more two-way. than just me speaking straight to the students. I teach law school, which applies Socratic method, and you ask questions of the students. You ask students answer the question, and you build on the answers, and something, hopefully, in the end, something more than what I wanted to tell them would come out. I know what I want to say, right? I want the participants' opinions, what they want to say about what I'm lecturing. And I wish there were more time for that too. In some other classes, I hope they can do that. And that way, they would have what they did in this program more in their mind for the future. And I'm sure that's going to help them with just international law, with not just international law, but with anything. So thank you very much for the occasion.
Yes, I think this academy is very important, and particularly I'm very glad to be one of the participants in this academy, and especially this has been a kind of flagship program of the Diplomacy Academy and also Korean government, and the academy has been able to invite all the best instructors, I mean the experts and professors in international law, and they covered the currently being discussed hot issues. So with a very updated expertise and information to the students who are mainly the diplomats from the other countries. So I think partly it is important for discussing and sharing the international law issues among the experts and the diplomats, students. They get together each other. So I think in many years they will become the decision makers in their own countries. So I hope what they learn from this program on international law, that knowledge will help them to have a very good, right decision making in their office. Thank you.
Thank you. Firstly, thank you for having me, and it's a great pleasure to be here in Seoul. I really think that this kind of program dedicated to the diplomats are really key, at least in our understanding at the ICRC, to ensure the respect, the understanding of international law. As we often say, we see the respect of international law often linked to the repression of the violation of international law. And I think this is something most of the people think when it comes to law. We think that if you have a rule, it should be respected. If it's not respected, it should be repressed. What we think at the ICRC is that international law, and in particular international humanitarian law, should be, and to ensure respect of this law, there should be an integration, an implementation, an understanding of this body of rule within the different level of the state, the administration, the high administration, such as the diplomats, the armed forces, but also the academic, the students, the general public. And there should be really this idea of empowering the state to think that the state should respect IHL, and that the staff, the administration should respect and ensure respect IHL. So in this context, and having said that, we understand that this kind of program are extremely key and are really close to our heart in a way that we try to do a bit the same in many contexts on IHL. So seeing all those diplomats interested in international law in IHL, but not only, is really, I would say, great, and we think it will have an impact in the future. Yes. Thank you.
Well, firstly, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and thank you for the invitation to present on this important subject of international humanitarian law. My first impressions must be that the course seems like an excellent collection of really quite brilliant young diplomats, and I was very impressed by their engagement and their questions. And I was very impressed by the commitment of the Seoul Academy of International Law to bringing the International Committee of the Red Cross to the podium and allowing us to present our view on this important subject to these future leaders in the world. So I would say that the opportunity to meet young diplomats early in their career as they go out to the world and to influence their understanding of the role that international humanitarian law plays in protecting people during armed conflict can only bring good to the world. And I want to thank the Seoul Academy again, and more generally the Republic of Korea, for supporting such an important program.
It was very impressive experience, and I met very good friends and great professors. I was very thankful to KNDA for these our experiences. Thank you again, indeed.
So the 2020 Seoul Academy for International Law has given me very much knowledge from the prominent lecturers, from the important issues in international law, and it's very fascinating and it's very insightful for me. Thank you for the Seoul Academy for International Law, and I hope all the best for this for the SAIL for the upcoming years.
I'm very honored to be able to participate in such a sophisticated and organized program. Today we had a chance to be a delegate of the WHO, and it was really nice to actually have a chance to go through the whole process of which the real delegates from each country would have been going through. So I think it's a really practical and very informative program. So I look forward to the ones that are left. Thank you.
I'm grateful for this opportunity to be part of the 2022 Seoul Academy of International Law. It has been a very enlightening program for me. especially when we are so lucky to be lectured by very great lecturers from various universities, very professors that are experts in their field. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to learn and also to connect with the rest of the participants here. Thank you.
It is of my greatest pleasure that I get to take part in this academy. It was a great chance to learn from the most prestigious professors and professionals from all over the field. It only not touches the traditional field of international law, but also the most recent hot potato issues in international law. So I had the chance to learn not out of my field in profession. So it was a great chance for me to take part in this academy. Thank you.